Dust has settled, the NAWCQ has come to a close, and we're going to be going through all of the craziness of Top Cut for you. Make sure you guys smash the like crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more of these breakdowns. Top 64 here. 31 Snake Eyes. You were one slot off from having your Snake Eyes variations out here just being the huge overhaul for this. Now, 29 of these for Fiendsmith. There was one Cashed here and one Fire King variant in your Top Cut, which is crazy. We had 13 Tenpai. Good job, Tenpai. You really are holding some strong numbers out here. We had 9 Fiendsmith Yubel variants. Well, I mean, we knew that was going to come. We had 3 Runic decks make their way into top 64, which is good. 2 Ritual Beasts. Actually, really happy to see that. We also only had 2 Gimmick Puppets, but that deck was really toxic all weekend. And then we had a tier player, a branded player, a memento player, and we also had a labyrinth player in your top 64, which is amazing. Now we shift on into top 32. We lose 32 of these duelists, putting us down to 16 Snake Eyes Fiendsmith variants. That's a pretty devastating, shift around here, but I'm fine with that, actually. We had 7 Tenpais holding on for, the OTK presence that, that you're expecting out of this deck, right? You want this deck to be the dominating force that it is. It did pretty well here. We also only had 4 Yubel Fiendsmiths left at this stage, which is, that's a horrible. They lost 5 of them things out of top 64. Okay. We had 2 Runic. Wow, look at you, Runic, go. We also had our branded duelist, our ritual beast, and our labyrinth player also held on out here through top 32. Your conversion rate here, I mean, especially in the top 32, I don't like that, Snake Eyes took up half of the slots here for this, but the rogue decks, or, the other challengers in the room, are doing a good job here. Now, top 16, still 8 Snake Eyes Fiendsmith decks present in the room. Not really surprised about that, nor should you be. We had 3 Tenpai left with 3 Yubel Fiendsmith as well. That's, okay. Your last remaining rogue challengers in top 16 were a singular Runic deck and a branded deck that were struggling to just kind of keep up with how things were going. And I mean, kudos to those decks for doing what they could. Top 8, well, 5 Snake Eyes Fiendsmith variations stuck around. A little bit rough to see, but I'm not all that surprised. And then we had 2 Yubel Fiendsmiths as well, and then Tenpai. So at this point in time, we scraped out everything that we were kind of used to seeing, and your meta, unfortunately, starts to kind of just, you're getting rid of all the abnormalities and the consistencies here. And then you hit the fabled top 4, which is 3 Snake Eyes and 1 Yubel Fiendsmith, in which, your finals go in to be the double Snake Eyes matchup, which a lot of people were predicting that to be the case. Snake Eyes just feels so much further ahead of the competition. Granted, the Yubel Fiendsmith variant can kind of keep up with things, which, I mean, it is a good variant, but congratulations to the power of Snake Eyes out here with some consistency upgrades from the old Fiendsmith. Let's pass on over to those deck lists. So, winning our event here is, well, what we genuinely expected. The power of Fiendsmith. Yes, the consistency enablers and all that little fun stuff that you were definitely expecting to see out of the course of the weekend here. Now, a little interesting things about this list. We did play the Azrune, and we actually did play the Silo Hat Hair. You're basically going through so many stepping stones and interactions with this deck that actually being able to bring out the Azrune actually is just kind of free for you. Like, you have no reason not to consider that as an actual option for you to be able to access. Also, the Mulcharmy hype, if you haven't looked at this card's price this morning, because of this top cut, Mulcharmy has actually hit the $60 mark, which is literally beyond any of my fathomable expectations out of this event. So that's going to be something that you're going to have to look at in terms of your fallout here. But also, hey, look, we remember these good cards, right? Glad to see the old guys still doing their thing. Oh, hey, we have more of this, and there is our Angel of Blue Tears. we did do a lot of the little tech ideas and like keeping up and seeing what players were looking at with this. This is a pretty interesting consideration. Also, do keep in mind, a lot of these builds, you know, no Pyro Phoenix, no Zelantis anymore. You know, we've kind of cut that out. The Necroquip Princess has definitely moved up in the tech choice world out here for this deck. Because, I mean, also having the interaction for this secondary effect, if you need it, you're usually just going to use it as a stepping stone on into the Beatrice anyway, but it is a possibility that, you know, having this definitely can help out with that. Once again, hey, those March Hummies that are $60 a piece, yeah, enjoy that. I also like this DD ground in here that you could possibly send off of the Angel of Blue Tears. That's actually kind of cute, but in terms of how this deck has shaped up, you're going to be seeing a lot of the consistency upgrades that this deck has been given so much easier. All right, hey, finally, somebody understands. Somebody played. It's supposed to be the stage 2. I was excited. Nah, this should be your stage 2, just so you understand that. I was so excited. Now, this is the stage 2. We messed up in the deck building process. Sorry about that. I appreciate you guys. This is kind of cool, though. I see that we are playing the Pinkertops down here. This is a pretty standard thing. Actually, no, this is not standard, actually. This was a nice little tech choice. Come to think about it out here. Fenrir's kind of disappeared off into the distance, and we don't really get the chance to see them anymore. Standard Yubel ratios. Like I said, this is supposed to be the other one. Doing the double tracked, which I think is fine. A 1-2 split on these is kind of interesting. I do like that idea. But outside of that, nothing really too crazy to look at and to consider out here. Okay. Ooh, more of our favorite cards in the whole... What are you doing here? I see that this list actually opted to play M7 as a bouncer option. Okay. Honestly, if Beatrice does go, though, this kind of feels like people are going to consider this a replacement. It's actually kind of interesting. Okay. Playing the crossouts in here, you do see the one Angel Blue Tears. I also see that this list was packing in a magic deflector here as well. This is definitely one of the cuter little interactions that you can bring off of this, because it has to be a normal trap. Or, of course, you know, the Black Goat. One tracked. Yeah, we're not messing around with too much with the Fiendsmith ratios. It's just how many hand traps can you shove into this thing and have it work out for you, you know. And typically, you're going to be pretty easy to deck build this. This is also kind of interesting down here for your tech choices. Actually seeing the Dark Ruler no more. Okay. Once again, I mean, the board breaker thing was something to be expected. Holy Runic. Oh, baby. So, double a mono. I like that. Pretty straightforward. We're choosing to play the 2-dimensional fissure in here. To be honest with you, I can get behind this. This does act as an additional floodgate, being able to pressure your opponent so you can do what you need to. 2 Synchro Zone. I mean, this card stinks, and if you run into the Tenpai player in the room, that's just going to sack you. There's nothing you can really do about that, I feel like. If they have it, well, they have it. Also, side decking the triple organism down here instead of actually main decking one. Okay, that's a considerable thing. This card's nuts, in my opinion. I like this card a lot. Definitely did not expect this card to have the amount of stupid, crazy value that it has had for me recently, but Curse Seal definitely is the MVP maker. No card scanners in here for the soft loops, which I did like, but this card definitely is carrying a lot of this deck for sure. Next up here we have more Fiendsmith. Dun dun dun. There you go. There's your Terror Incarnate. This list is correct. This list, from what I was understanding, we're missing 2 slots, so... You know, I'm assuming that they're like other pieces for, you know, the Dice or Rice and stuff like that. We were main decking 1 Dark Ruler no more, a Droplet, you know, the 2 talents. You know, it really impresses me when you get down into the analyzation and looking at these deck builds, that the tech choice ratios that these people choose to bring to these events. Like, there's always just something about that logic that I'm going to find kind of interesting. Hey, it's the Mole Charmy that everybody told me was going to be $20 and has now reached $60. I'm going to keep emphasizing this video just because, like, if you bought these at 20s, good job. Now the hand trap is actually doing its crazy things. Also, 1 thrust in the side, none in the main. This duelist really did like their one of tech choices. Nothing wrong with that. Just pointing that out. High board breakers. You got your triple Dark Rulers in here. You got your triple Book of Eclipses. You got your 2 Forbidden Droplets. If you're out here and you're like, I'm ready to have a good time, yeah, this is the current state of branded that it appears. Still doing the Gimmick Puppet luck. I actually wonder, over the course of the weekend, how many duelists ran in to, Gimmick Puppet Duelist, handed them the Nightmare, and then just got OTK'd on the slap back from, Gimmick Puppets doing the thing. Like, I think that's the most hilarious thing to actually consider out here for what you can do. But also, 2 big balls. We are side decking the Black Goat Laughs. Pretty interesting stuff. And of course, we do have Yule Fusion Duplication back here as well, with the 1 duplication in the main. So we're doing the 1-1 split. Been a little bit of an argument to test 2 in the main from some duelists, but 1 is your victory for this lap. Ooh, we have Gimmick Puppets here. 1-1 on the hand traps, just so you can cross them on out here. This is definitely to be expected out here. I see that we are doing a Horus package in here. Reason for your Horus package is, you'll be able to bring out the level 8s and then use those pressure points on the opponent, which is what you need to see, all right? You need to be able to have big, strong monsters to not only allow the deck to be consistent, which is what you're doing here. Those consistency pieces are meant to do that for you, but you're also able to kind of shave down a little bit of the fat in this and use some very strong consistency enablers so that you can do your job, right? Like that's the major things that I think you need to consider out here when you're looking at the Gimmick Puppet stuff is whatever extensions, whatever combo lines I'm pushing for here have to be consistent enough to achieve those W's. Next up here, we have, more of the so many piles of this, man. I'm telling you. Now, this is a cool little tech choice. We're actually side decking the Rise to Full Heights. I'd seen a few people talking about this. I did not necessarily think that it was going to come up in application, but it's banish this card from the graveyard, target a monster you control. Your opponent's monsters cannot attack for the rest of this turn except to attack that monster. Alright, so it ensures, one, that you don't lose the game. Also ensures that, you're able to kind of draw all of the attacks into that, all right? Like, that's a pretty important thing to really consider here. I also see we have the Bysteel side decked, as we should be, main decking the Black Goat Laughs, we have the crossouts, everything that has the standard of standard for this deck, all wrapped up. We're going to put a nice little bow on it, and you guys are good to go for all of your Snake Eyes list. Next up here, Vanquish Soul, Snake Eyes, Fire Kings. Yeah, you heard me say that correctly. I think this is by far probably the most innovative pile that we could see out here, but what amazes me most about this was this duelist found a way to pack all of this into this deck. Like, I don't know how they did it. I don't know what their deck building prowess was that led them to this combination of cards, but I'm just actually happy to see Vanquish Soul doing something. Like, it has been so long for Vanquish Soul to have any recognition. It's just, unfortunately, the rest of the fire cards, kind of have to carry the deck on its back. Nothing wrong with that, but this is a W for the Vanquish Soul stuff. Also, Kaiser Varius is an incredibly stupid card. We've seen how good Kaiser can be at allowing you to just steal games. Like, good job to Kaiser. I'm very happy to see you're back. And our last list here is, wow, Tenpai Dragons. The deck has been bullied so hard, it feels like. We are doing the 1 Magna Hut for searchability, 2 draws, interesting. Actually main decking the Mulch Army so that you can get to that draw power to make sure that, you're getting to that consistency that you need. Only playing 1 fodder. I still hate this, but I understand why. Only 2 Pot of Prosperities. Okay. That's interesting. I see that we are doing the Vorp Gate down here. For the board clear if need be. We are side decking the Shifters and the Drago, and we are pushing the crossout designators down here to the side deck. Alright, and we are siding a skill drain so we can cross it out. Okay, interesting. That's everything we have for the NAWCQ. So much info, just kidding. We'll have some more day 2 list this afternoon for you. So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
for watching. Check out these other videos.